Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome back to the Radio Afterglow. It has been a long time since my last video, and life has just sort of gotten in the way, as it always does. Moving kids, marriages, yada yada, that sort of stuff has been going on and keeping me away from making videos, but it hasn't been keeping me away from collecting records, and music and CDs, which just continue to do. And, you know, as usual, excuse Maeve for her squeakiness. She loves to come on here and, you know, just be part of the whole scene. Anyway, I want to talk about something today, make one more video before the end of the year, and this time I want to talk about Christmas albums. Not a huge, or even large, or even moderately big part of my collection. Just really haven't been into collecting Christmas records much. Have several CDs, all the Trans-Siberian Orchestra CDs, and which my wife and I were fortunate enough to get to see again this year. We usually go at least once every couple of years, and always put on a great show. But anyway, when it comes to vinyl, really haven't had much, and to be quite honest, with some other things going on, in the last few years I really haven't been really interested in hearing Christmas music. But this year, I'm kind of getting back in it, kind of enjoying it again, and so I thought I'd just show a little bit about what I have in the collection so far, the very, very small collection. I'll start off with actually an album that my wife picked up, and this is Connie's Christmas, Connie Francis, of course. And this album came out in 1966, I believe, on MGM. It actually came out, Connie's Christmas, I think it was called, in 1959 in the UK, and then in 1962 came out as Christmas in My Heart, and then it was repackaged again in 1966, as you see it here. All on MGM, all the same recordings from 1959, and the typical Christmas songs, White Christmas, Winter Wonderland, I'll Be Home for Christmas, that sort of stuff. Of course, there's also Lord's Prayer, Silent Night, Little Town of Bethlehem, First Noel, Ave Maria, that sort of stuff. Yeah, this one, Connie takes a very reverent approach to her Christmas music, which, and here's a label, which you've all seen that kind of label before. But anyway, you know, so she takes a very subdued, very reverent approach to her music, which, you know, is warranted given the spiritual significance and all. But it's just a little bit too dull for me. A little bit too subdued, too quiet. I kind of like a little bit of a pep, a little more festive sort of Christmas album. So, yeah, this one's okay. But, and like I say, it's been repackaged 3 times, and so if you get one Connie Christmas album, you've got them all. Not basically, but you do. Now, speaking of festive, this is something more along my speed. Brenda Lee's Merry Christmas, and of course this has her classic, you know, Jingle Bell Rock and Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, Strawberry Snow, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, all, you know, and all with a little bit of a pep to their step. This one came out on Decca in 1964, I believe, somewhere thereabouts. This is actually a 1980 repress on MCA, which is fine with me. I mean, it's in immaculate condition, and you know, it was really cheap. Although, you know, it still has the Kmart price tag on there. Did not pay anywhere near that exorbitant price when I picked this up. But anyway, this is a real fun album. I enjoy this one, and Brenda Lee's just got a great voice, and recommend that one to anyone who wants a little bit of a rockin' Christmas album. This next one is my favorite of the lot so far in my collection. This is The Ventures Christmas album. And of course this is just total groovy sort of stuff. All instrumental surf rock, of course, if you're familiar at all with The Ventures. They just kind of do their own take on other people's songs. And of course there's Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Jingle Bells. They even do take on Jingle Bell Rock, Rudolph, Frosty. Now there's a couple originals on here. Scrooge is one. I think there's also, I think Snowflakes is also another one, which are pretty cool. But still, this is just a fun album from start to finish. If you're going to get a Christmas album, get the Ventures. And this was out in this one I think came out in '64 as well. Of course, it's not going to say on here, but this is on Dalton Records. Pull the label out. Really fun stuff. I mean, they mash in Tequila, you know, the Pee Wee Herman, known from Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee's Big Adventure, or whatever the hell it is. But there you go. Yeah, Dalton Records. Fun stuff. Alright, now this is the latest acquisition. Excuse me, Maeve, may I have this? This one, bit of a story on this one. This is Christmas by Cheap Trick, and this just came out on Record Store Day, Black Friday this year, 2017. I had, well, hello, Maeve. How are you? Thank you. She always has to get the camera. Anyway, went out on Record Store Day, Black Friday, and I was 40 minutes late, or well, I shouldn't say late, but got to the store 40 minutes after they opened, which, you know, isn't really outrageously late. And it, as my luck would have it, there was a guy literally in line as I came in the store with the last copy that they had of this album. Yeah, shit happens. And there was another record I was also in there for, which of course was gone as well. But here I have it in my hands because my birthday was just actually 2 days ago, and my wife was really disappointed that I was disappointed, and she went ahead and went on the secondary market, aka eBay, tracked down a copy and got it in time for my birthday, which was just totally awesome. And also the other one too, which I'll show in another video, but since it's not Christmas related. But so she got both of them, which was just great. And I mean, how cool is that, right? When your wife goes that extra mile. But yeah, anyway, so Cheap Trick's Christmas. This is their first Christmas album. Came out in Big Machine Records, yeah. And it has, you know, a kind of a mix between their originals and some covers. And they do some traditional covers like Run Rudolph Run. Well, it's not really traditional, but Silent Night is traditional. But then they've got one of my favorite Christmas songs, Father Christmas, the Kinks' Father Christmas. They've got Merry Christmas, I Don't Want to Fight Tonight by Joey Ramone. And a couple other covers on here. They did the Jimmy Fallon cover, which is kind of interesting. But this was a pretty fun album. It was all right. Here's a custom label. What was kind of a bummer was the quality control of wherever this was pressed. It's got dents and dings all over it. I mean, and this was brand new out of the shrink. I mean, this was a sealed copy. So I gotta imagine that that was not uncommon. That this was just a bad press run, and that's kind of talking to how I guess Record Store Day releases are being rushed, and the quality control is just not there. And I've heard all sorts of stuff about just bad pressings and bad sounding pressings and pressings with defects. And I haven't listened to the other album I got yet, so I don't know how that one will turn out, but I'm hopeful that it was a little bit better than what this one was. But still, as an album, this was a fun album, and if you're definitely a Cheap Trick fan, you want to pick this up. Right now I got a couple of 7-inch singles here that are a bit interesting. This first one, actually they're both by a band out of southeastern Michigan called Saturday Looks Good to Me. It's a kind of a indie collective, really centered around a dude named Fred Thomas, who has been in a plethora of indie bands in the Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, Michigan area. He started several of his own labels, putting out his music as well as other local bands, and he's just kind of like a Jack White light sort of thing. But this first one, this came out. Oops. Oh, here's the sleeve it came out in. This came out in 2003 on Polyvinyl Records, and it was ironically packaged with their 2003 album, All Your Summer Songs. And this one contains, let's see, get the label right here, Christmas Blues, which is a Dean Martin cover, pretty cool cover, and Will You Still, which has nothing to do with Christmas. It is a cover of the Shirelles' Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow. Totally sort of a freak beat sort of thing. Now the Dean Martin cover is pretty true to form, a little trippy, but it is sung with female vocals, so there's a little bit of a difference from the original, but still, it was a really interesting take on that classic. And the last one I got today, like I said, is also by Saturday Looks Good to Me. This has kind of a cool screen printed cover. Right there. This came out same year. This actually came out on Christmas Eve 2003, so December 24th, 2003. This is called This Time Every Year, which is an original by Fred Thomas, and a cover of Elvis's Blue Christmas. And this was out on Sonic Syrup Records, a little label out of Connecticut. And let's see here. And the cover of Blue Christmas is pretty cool. Again, female vocals, so they kind of take a different spin in that direction, but still it's pretty kind of trippy, kind of hazy sort of a song, which was still pretty good. I enjoyed it. And then This Time Every Year was just, kind of an indie rock sort of little Christmas ditty, which again was an original, and I thought it was interesting. It was good. I'm going to put, all of these are on YouTube, so I'm going to go ahead and put some links down in the description there if you're so inclined to check out this band. Saturday Looks Good to Me. And like I said, they've been around. They have put out, just a ton of albums, mostly 45s and EPs. I shouldn't say 45s because some of these 7 just spin at 33. So, but anyway, they put out a lot of singles, a lot of EPs, a handful of albums, and as far as I know, they're still going. Like I say, they've had like a revolving cast of musicians, so it's more of a collective, more of a Fred Thomas project than it is a band. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for as far as the Christmas music goes. Like I said, small collection, still building it. I just picked up another album today. Haven't had a chance to clean it up and spin it, so I didn't want to include it. And I've got a couple more on my radar that I'm going to hopefully pull the trigger on sometime between now and this time 2018, and maybe I'll make this kind of a traditional yearly thing where I go over the Christmas albums I picked up the previous year, if you're into that. Okay guys, well again, appreciate you stopping by, spending some time checking out this video, and I hope to be a little bit more prolific in the coming year, so we'll see what the new year holds. In the meantime, you all have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and see you then. Later.